Hi, my name is Stephanie Carbonneau. I'm the French teacher here at York Middle School. I've been a teacher for 17 years, and I have worked under 5 different principals, including the principalship of David Williams. And I can say honestly, with no disrespect to the other 4, that David was by far the best principal I've ever worked for. Not only did he inspire students and staff to work harder and be better, he helped me find passion again for teaching. He was in our classrooms daily. He chaperoned trips. He went with me twice on our trip to Quebec City, and he wasn't afraid to be an active participant. He was out there on the ice when the kids were curling. He went dog sledding. He went snowshoeing. He ate the same foods as the kids. He participated in all the events, and the kids really enjoyed his presence. Our school is so different today thanks to David. He found a way to inspire us. He's an amazing principal. He's very dedicated, passionate, and very talented. He's also very knowledgeable. He has a sincere love of teaching, of guiding students, and of mentoring teachers. And he's fun to work with. I'm proud to be part of this school now, and I'm very thankful I had the opportunity to work with David and experience his leadership.
Greetings. My name is Barbara Mailing, and I'm the curriculum director here in the York School Department. And I also currently have stepped in for Dave Williams here at York Middle School, so I wear 2 hats. I can tell you that I've probably worked with at least 20 different administrators from 3 different school systems in my role as curriculum director, and I've enjoyed working with Dave Williams more than just about anyone else, because Dave has a vision, he has passion, he's a student-centered leader, and he leads that way. I mean, he really believes in student voice, and he believes that schools should be learner and student-centered communities, and he leads with that belief system on his sleeve. He really owns what he believes, and what he believes is going to accelerate student learning and is the right thing to do for kids. And when you kind of lead from that belief system and people really can see it, they're much more willing, in my opinion, to make the changes that they need to make in their instructional practice to do what's right for students. And Dave has really been able to come into this school and make those changes happen. And York Middle School is a much different place than it was when he started. It's a much better place. It's a much more student-centered place. You'll get to know him. He sort of paces like a caged tiger. So you just have to get used to that. But he's thinking, he's walking, he's thinking, he's talking, he's, batting ideas around, he's asking for feedback from people in the room. And, and I think that kind of dynamic personality, he's really built capacity and investment in a way that is pretty remarkable.
My name's Jen Etter. I'm a music teacher at York Middle School. The best way that I can describe Dave is he's really inspiring. He's inspiring to his staff, he's inspiring to students, and he's inspiring to the community. He is so well researched and so well versed that he's just, light years ahead of many people that I've worked with. He pushes his staff and his students to be better teachers and better kids on a daily basis, but he does it in an unobtrusive kind of way. I say a lot to different people that I'm talking to that I've never worked with an administrator before that has pushed me to be a better teacher on a daily basis, and Dave Williams truly did that. He also gives his staff a sense of ownership in the vision of the school, and pushes the staff to become leaders kind of within their own right. And it's really empowering for the school as a whole, especially for the staff. and students see that and they buy into it, and it makes the school really, really strong as a result.
Hi, I'm Andy Gironis. I teach fifth grade language arts and social studies, and I was the fifth grade team leader while Mr. Williams was here at York Middle School. And so we work quite closely together on a couple different levels. So let me just say a few words about why Mr. Williams is an exceptional principal and why you really do want to have him on your team. Mr. Williams is someone who inspires people to work harder. His energy is contagious. Being around Mr. Williams, working with him, working under him, really pushed me to new levels in terms of my teaching. I saw in him a role model, someone whose passion, whose talent, whose desire to push themselves further, to not settle, was something that I wanted to also achieve. And so I worked harder under Dave than I ever have, and I never enjoyed it more. I've always loved teaching, but these last 3 years have just been tremendous. But here in school, you know, we found an instructional leader that could answer our questions, that gave us ideas. You know, he was in my classroom and all our classrooms far more often than any administrator I had ever worked for. I think he was the fourth or fifth principal I worked under, and always with feedback and ideas, checking in. You know, he's just a tremendous leader and someone who I would work for again in a heartbeat.
Hello, my name's Frank Wallace. I want to speak to you in behalf of Dave Williams, who is a candidate for principalship. First, a little background so you can put my remarks in perspective. I am a retired school head from the world of independent schools. I headed Colorado Academy for 16 years and the North Country School in Lake Placid for 10 years. During that time, I was also on the board of directors of the National Association of Independent Schools and chairman of the Education Committee, period. Finally, I have written a bit on education for various magazines and for public radio. So, I have been working in the York public schools since my retirement. That was 16 years ago. I've worked in all of the divisions of the school, and I've worked with a number of principals and a great many faculty members. I have never seen such success in inspiring faculty and getting the kids engaged as I have during Dave Williams' period of time in the middle school. Go into any classroom at that period and you see activity of a sort that's just remarkable. You see teachers and students engaged together in ways that are moving. And this is largely, well, it's almost entirely because of Dave Williams. It wasn't like that before he came. He just inspired the school to invent, to try new things, to work from their imaginations, to put the children in the best possible position for learning, which is to ask them to explore. He is probably one of the 2 or 3 most inspirational and competent principals with whom I've worked over my career. I say this sincerely because I believe Dave has a great deal to give to schools and to children, and I hope you will very seriously consider his candidacy.
Hi, my name is Margaret Simons, and I'm making this video recommendation on behalf of Dave Williams, and thoroughly pleased to do so. I first would like to say that I've never worked as hard at my teaching as I did during the 3 years that I worked with Dave Williams. But having said that, I also don't feel that my teaching grew, and I feel like I've been doing my best teaching. Thoroughly supported by him and really embraced the changes that happened in our school during those 3 years. I feel like one of his strengths was really making clear expectations and a clear vision, but being able to back that up. You know, he's very knowledgeable, very well read, is able to quote research, you know, and has reasons, very clear reasons for the things that he was trying to do. And he was very supportive in that. You know, if I feel like if anyone or I was having trouble implementing something, the support was there to help me get to where I was trying to be. And I felt very safe in trying new things. I didn't, making mistakes is okay, and I feel like that was something that he made very clear, that no one's perfect and we're going to mess up, and that's okay. Whenever I felt like I messed up, I could go and say, oh, I really messed this up. How can I fix it? Or this is my idea to fix it, and he was there. I've never had someone, an administrator, be in my classroom as much, and not just my classroom, but everyone's classroom, and it was very comfortable. Students know him. He knows the students. Always was in conversations with the students about what they were learning, what they were doing, what their goals were. As a matter of fact, one time he was in my classroom and he observed that we were talking about independent and dependent variables, and he asked if he could come in to talk to my classes about his research that he did before teaching. And so he gave up a day and a half to come into my 4 different sections of science class and present to them his research and do some team teaching with me on independent and dependent variables. And it was a fantastic experience for me, for the kids, and for him as well.
Hi, my name is Beth Knight. I'm a language arts teacher at York Middle School. I've been in education for about 30 years, and I'd like to give a video reference for Dave Williams, who was our principal here for the last 3 years. Dave came and shook things up in a really good way. He made our school culture about teaching and learning. He brought us a new paradigm to base our teaching on. The focus of every faculty meeting became on how to be a better teacher, how do kids learn. He also opened up the door to professional development and being part of professional associations in the state of Maine. He reconfigured the school into new teams that gave everybody a voice in the school. He created a work day for us that gave us more time to meet as a team, to give student feedback because we had more time for our data collection and to see what students needed more help for differentiation. We've moved to a proficiency-based model, and it's running very smoothly. We moved to a new grading system. Talk about the changes have been phenomenal. Dave also made it a point to be in our rooms and give us good constructive feedback and to help. My teaching is 5 million times better after his feedback. He offered support. He would document things in a really good way. He would come through and make sure we were following through and hold us accountable, which was a really good thing because you don't always see that in an administrator. So Dave Williams has my highest recommendation. I think the biggest positive for him is that even though he's gone from us, we are still performing at a very high level. Teachers are still using the paradigms that he brought. Our school has been invigorated and energized, and we're moving forward in really good ways. And we wish him the best, and your school would be lucky to have him as an administrator.
Hi, my name is Fred Belois, and we're here at Camp Mara Vista with the 7th grade, but we didn't want to miss the chance to comment on our former principal, Mr. Williams, David Williams, and give you a little bit of our thoughts about what he meant to our school. And we're sad to see that he left us, but we're happy that he's moving on. He'll hopefully do the same thing he did for other schools he did for us.
Yeah, when we first heard the news, I was pretty devastated personally, mostly because I've been working at York for about 10 years, and Dave's made a lot of positive changes since he's been at our school, things that I've personally been fighting for since I've gotten to York, and Dave finally made it happen. But on top of that, I also firmly believe that we will continue the work that Dave has inspired in us because he's empowered a lot of teachers to become leaders around the school, and that has instilled a lot of confidence in us in order for us to know that we can move forward.
It's really the atmosphere and the school culture that I noticed the most, that where teachers really wanted to become better teachers and really collaborated more, and students, since we've gone to the standards-based grading, want to do better. They want to achieve better. It's not so much about the grade, but what they're really learning. So it's an amazing place, and it's mostly because of the leadership that Mr. Williams has shown.
Yeah, oftentimes at meetings or in the hallway, what I remember a lot of is it was very evident Dave's passion and his belief in the system in order to kind of pass that on to us and instill that in us. Just to have a leader that is so obviously passionate about something that's infectious and in a good way.